Hello students, in this lecture we will see the band theory of solids. First, the syllabus of this section. First we will see the electric, semiconductor, conductors and insulating materials. In insulating we will see the dielectric materials and their properties and applications, and followed by smart materials. Then we will see the magnetic materials and their applications. The CLO on this section is to classify engineering materials based on its structure. So before going further, let me give you the introduction of materials, classification based on their electrical resistivity. So we can classify material into three types. One is metallic materials, one is semiconductors, and one is insulators. So the difference in these three is on the resistivity. If there is change in the resistivity, if it is less than -5 ohm meter, we call that as the metallic materials. If it is from 10 to the power -3 to 10 to the power 3 ohm meter, that we call as semiconductors. And if it is greater than 10 to the power 3 ohm meter, that we call as insulators. So we will see all three materials, but in this lecture we will see only metallic materials. So as soon as I say metallic materials, they should be conducting. Metals are conducting in nature. That is due to the number of free electrons. And in any solid, if you take, the conductivity depends on the participating electron in the conduction and how they are arranged in the electronic states and how they occupied. So the free electron theory, to justify the conduction in metals, is assume that the electrons are free in nature. The outermost electrons are free in nature, that is, they are not bound to any atom, particular atom, and they are free to move anywhere through the whole solid, and that we called as a free electron cloud or gas or Fermi gas. And this potential of the iron core, because any metal is made up of iron, and the electrons to have potential field due to the iron core is assumed at constant, right? And this electron will move in the sea of iron cores. So here we can see the example of this free electron theory or free electron gas. These are iron cores, and this is potential due to this iron core. So you can see that there is a periodic potential due to this iron cores, and your electron will move inside this. So to understand it better, we will take example of atom. These are the atoms, these are our electrons. Electron will move in this potential or through this potential without any collision at 0k. So that electron has some energy, and that energy we can understand by using the electronic configuration, because electrons have some different energy and those are arranged in a different fashion or different levels, you can say. So if you have individual atom, if you take any individual atom, there the energy levels are occupied by electron in shells and subshell. So we have shells such as K, L, M, N. In these shells we have subshells such as S, P, D, F, and these are the number of states this H, P, D, F can occupy. So S can occupy 1 state, P can occupy 3 states, D can occupy 5 states, and F can occupy 7 states. In each of the state we can have 2 electrons with opposite spin. This is very important. We can have 2 electrons with opposite spin. Remember that spin should be opposite, and this is in accordance with the Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's state that no 2 electrons having same spin can be in a same energy state. So their energy state, to have minimum energy, they should have opposite spin. and this electronic configuration of each atom represents the arrangement of electrons in that allowed states. So this is the nucleus of any atom. We have different states. We have different shells such as K shell, L shell, M shell and N shell. K shell can occupy 2 electrons, L can occupy 8 electrons, M can occupy 18 electrons and N can occupy 32 electrons. In these shells we have different subshells such as S, P, D, F as we have seen in the last slide. So as our principal quantum number increases, the energy increases. Principal quantum number N denotes the subshells. If we have n equal to 1, it means it has only S subshell. If we have n equal to 5, then it will have 5 subshells, right? So your principal quantum number, as the quantum number increases, the energy increases. This thing you have to remember. Suppose if you take 12 number of atoms, so this 12 number of atoms will have 12 energy levels of individual atom, right? So we take 12 number of atoms. So these 12 number of atoms have their individual energy level. Now if we combine these atoms together, so we combine this atom together, this 12 energy level will also combine. So that had been shown here. We have taken an atom that has 1s electron level and 2s electron level. These are 1s electron energy bands of these 12 atoms, and this is 2s energy band of these 12 atoms. Since they are coming together, they are forming a band like structure, because according to Pauli's principle, no two electron can have a same energy. So there should be some difference in their energy. To maintain that difference, there with formation of some band. So now if we take n number of atoms, because we have 6 into 10 to the power 23 number of atoms per mole of material, so in that case we can form energy bands, and that structure look like a band that we call as energy band. So here you can see this is one band, this is another band, and the gap between this is called as band gap. There will be infinite gap between these two that we call as a band gap, and your materials we can classify based on this band gap only. Again, for your clarity, we have shown the band formation here. We have only one atom, and these are the core energy levels. If you have two atoms, these are core energy levels of two atoms, and they will look like this. If you have small number of atoms, such as we have taken 12 number of atoms in the last slide, we will form some kind of band structure. And if we have n number of atoms, for example in a solid, we have band. So this is one band, this is another band, and the band gap is the gap between these two energy levels. Now you should have a question that why there is a formation of band, why not the energy is continuous in nature, that we will see now. Before that, we will classify the materials based on their band gap. So this band gap structure, this is the one band, this is called as valence band, this is called as conduction band. So here whatever is shown in the green color is the conduction band, whatever is shown in the orange color is called as valence band. So electron for a conduction has to go from valence band to the conduction band, then and only then the conduction takes place. So the meaning is that electron should acquire sufficient energy, because these bands are classified based on energy only. So they should occupy sufficient energy, then and only then they can take part in the conduction process. So in conductors we have two types of structures. In one we have zero band gap, and in one we have finite band gap. But remember, this is only at 0 K at room temperature. Both these structure will have a overlap band. There is no band gap at all in a metal. The bands are already overlapped. In the insulators, the band gap is greater than 2 electron volts, and in the semiconductors, the band gap is 0.01 to 2 electron volts, that we call as semiconductors. So how the conduction takes place if we have a metal, if we have a piece of metal as shown here, it will have some electrons, right? These electrons are shown here, and if we don't apply any field, the movement of this electron get cancelled out by these electrons. So the net movement of electron is 0. In a static condition, the net movement of electron is 0 because they will cancel out each other. If we apply some field to this metal, suppose we apply positive field here and negative field here, so more number of electron will try to move towards the positive side as compared to the less number of electron, and here we can say that conduction has taken place. This typical example is metal. Same thing is happening in the metal. Now I have posed a question that why the energy of electrons is not continuous, why there is a gap between two energy levels. The answer is here. Electron can behave like a particle or electron can behave like a wave at the same time. This is called as wave particle duality, and this is in accordance with the quantum mechanical theory. There are some evidence also for this, but we will not go into the detail. You just have to understand that it can be behave like a particle. If it is a particle, the energy is given by half mv square. M is the mass of the particle and v is the velocity of the particle. If the electron behaves like a wave, or we can assume it as a wave, the wavelength is given by lambda equal to h upon mv. H is the Planck's constant, m is the mass, and v is the velocity of the electron. So here the lambda is called as Dirac-Broglie wavelength. And here there is one more concept that we call as a wave number. Wave number is given by 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi is used because the wave is there and wave is in a repetition. So to show the repetition, 2 pi has been used. So k is inversely proportional to the lambda. Here k represents the spatial representation of the wave, that is a motion of wave along x-axis, along y-axis, or along z-axis, or in a space, the motion of wave in a space. This is similar to the earthquake. Earthquake is the wave, and that wave moves in a space. So if you want to know the dimension of that wave, you have to use some kind of vector. So same thing is here. K will show you the movement of this electron wave in a space. K is equal to 2 pi by lambda. If we put the value of lambda here, we will get the value of energy E is equal to h square upon 8 pi square m into k square. So you can see here this h is a Planck constant, it is a constant, and here k is a wave number. So if you plot EK diagram will have some spots as shown here, or EK diagram has some discontinuity as shown here, and these discontinuity are due to the Pauli's exclusion principle, and due to this discontinuity there is a gap in between the EK level, means this energy level is not uniform. Energy can be, for example, 1 eV, 1.1 eV, 1.2 eV, and so on, but it cannot be like 1.001 eV and 1.002 eV like that. So it is not continuous, it is discrete in nature from this EK diagram. Here also we can see that the lambda is a wavelength. One wavelength can be 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, and so on. Similarly, if we calculate from the lambda, E will be in the proportion of lambda. Lambda cannot be 0.2 lambda, 0.4 lambda, and so on. Now there is a term called as a Fermi energy. So if you take any metal or any material at 0 K, the highest field energy level is called as a Fermi energy. Highest field energy level is called as a Fermi energy. Till Fermi energy, all electron levels are occupied. Above the Fermi energy, all electron levels are empty. Right? As the temperature increases, the occupational probability of the electrons also increases, means they can cross the Fermi level also, and that has been shown here. At Fermi energy, or there is no occupation after this Fermi energy. Occupation means you can see here y-axis is 0 and 1. 0 represents no electron, 1 represents electron levels are there. So after EF, this dropped suddenly, so means there is no electron at all. As the temperature increases, the electrons below the Fermi level decreases and electrons above the Fermi level increases. So we can say that electron cross the Fermi energy as the temperature increases. Here again the conduction of electron is shown, but by using EK diagram. So if we have a piece of metal, where we don't have any field, so electrons are at rest here. If you plot the EK diagram, the EK diagram will look like this. There is a Fermi energy level here, and if you apply field to this metal plate, electrons will move towards the positive side, right? So due to the positive side, there will be a redistribution of electrons occupation levels. So electrons can jump from here to here after the application of electric field, and they can cross Fermi level. As soon as they cross the Fermi level, there is a finite conduction.